this past week we had the Red Bull Kumite event, and it was jam packed with some pretty dope talent, pretty nice talent from all across Europe, America, all different types of people. So, one thing that happened this week was at the beginning of the final rounds, Problem X and Punk went up against one another, and I think honestly, Problem X swept him. I think it was just like he took all the matches. So from that, people on Twitter, they start giving their opinions and stuff, and Punk was seeing that a lot of people were saying how Europe was this and they were that, and he was like, man, I'm kind of getting tired of hearing all this stuff about Europe, when such and such and such and such happens. So how about we put some money on the line, and we'll see who's the best at this and that, which led to many different people. I mean, Problem X, Hurricane, all these different Street Fighter competitors coming in and really giving their opinions and stuff. And then next thing you know, it turned into developing a 10v10 brawl for Street Fighter 5 that even Capcom Fighters has looked into and saying that they might be interested in setting this up. So the competitors from the US side that Punk has said would be for this would be him, so Punk, Idom, Nephew, Brian F, Rob TV. For number 6, it has Mena/JB. So whoever would come out of that, out of those two, Smug, Shine, Chris C, and Samurai. Then in Europe, you have Problem, Luffy, Phenom, Infectious, Mr. Crimson, Hurricane, Takamura, Big Bird, Angry Bird, and Four Fields. So some some action-packed, people up in this lineup. I mean, some of the heavy hitters of Street Fighter 5. And this would be amazing to see. So starting with you, Mr. Gaming Left, what do you think about this 10v10? Because I mean, something like this, if this starts, it would be dope to see something like this carry on in the future of who's the biggest region. Because Punk, he also called out Japan, and this is not even including Japan. If Japan was to hop in this, who would come out in the top of a 10v10 v10, possibly free for all over a certain amount of time. So what do you think about this, Mr. Gaming Lift? Give us your thoughts and make it right this time.
This guy.
Well, of course, I always give the right take. So it would come out of my mouth if it wasn't the right take.
Of course.
But I just haven't been following Street Fighter 5 as much as I used to when it first came out. But I do see stuff here and there. I did watch some of the Kumite. I watched a lot of the Tekken. The Tekken was actually really good. I didn't watch all of Street Fighter. But yeah, I saw that after the event was over that Punk had, I saw that the rumblings of that on Twitter. He was saying I'll get my players and we run through y'all EU players. Looking at the list, there's a lot of good players on both lists. Just from me remembering Street Fighter players in general when I was watching a lot more. It's good players on both sides. I do say that I watching a lot of NLBC, a lot of those good players like Shine, a lot of those guys are really good. Looking at USA side, you got Idom, who's probably the hot one right now in Street Fighter 5. Idom, Shine is really good. So you got some killers on US side, for sure. You got some really good players on that side. You got a lot of good players on the EU side. Infectious, Problem X, who's probably the golden boy on that side. You got who else? You got Luffy, Phenom. So it's some really good known people on this list that are really known for the Street Fighter play. So this should be a good event, and what I'm looking at, I feel like it could be evenly matched up. Maybe this can have a slight edge, but this would be dope. As long as stuff like this can be healthy rivalry, I think things like this are needed. Just more events, against groups and regions. I think it's pretty dope. So and Punk he's down for it's man, I put 10,000 of of this, that, and the third. It's as long as y'all can get this together. 'Cause I first saw it was a tweet where he was saying he would play against any person. He bet $10,000 on himself. So I guess that led into the 10v10. So I'm assuming, I don't know if they're gonna put up money still, but this should be dope. And it's people's that the pride is on the line, the egos up, especially when you like at the top echelon, the like skill levels and something. People gonna be like, look, you ain't beat me, you not beating me in my squad. You can forget about that. Yeah, this list. I mean, I would say it looks evenly matched, or US has a slight advantage. Either way, it should be pretty dope to see this. If they can get it set up, get people flown in, I think this would be pretty dope, man.
Yeah, to me, actually, it seems like a pretty cool event. Actually, I was actually pretty surprised because when it comes to when it comes to events like this, these are the kinds of events that really get me hyped. You know what I mean? When you take basically, it's kind of like when you watch like an old anime series or whatever, right? And it's like usually you have like characters that are kind of like always opposed. They always meet each other in a tournament or they meet each other on the battlefield and whatnot. But then when you have like certain characters teaming up, like you remember when Goku and Vegeta teamed up for the first time, or when Goku and Piccolo teamed up for the first time, or Vegeta teamed up with Gohan and Krillin during the Frieza / Namek arc. Like it's like, oh snap, like something really big's about to happen. So this is one of those occasions where I'm kind of like, yeah, man, like we got like a star-studded event where a whole lot of really good players are coming together for what we would consider a common good, right? Kind of to defend the honor, of the U.S. Against like the EU. So I mean, I think it sounds really really great, man. I mean, like Mr. Gaming Left, I don't really follow Street Fighter as often. Like I'm kind of like most of the Street Fighter stuff that I know about, I hear through like Mr. Gaming Lift or Rex on Max and a couple of other friends, but for the most part, I mean, like it seems pretty good. Like it seems pretty legit, man. Like all these like definitely like Punk and IDOM and stuff like that, and Luffy. So it's like, I mean, like everybody else, like I will be watching the event if only to get more of a bigger idea of what kind of players everybody is. I might go back and like actually watch a couple matches because I don't really watch a whole lot of Street Fighter 5. Mostly just play or get beat down, as the case is in that game. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to, as a person who is like in some ways uninitiated in some parts of Street Fighter 5. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Well, apparently, out of all three of us, I've been keeping up with Street Fighter 5 the most, I guess. But man, this would be dope to see. Like just starting off looking at the US list, Punk, Idom, and Nephew are two or three people, if I can count, that have been really making waves this year as far as like their placings and in tournaments and stuff like that. Then you go to Brian Elf. He just really had a great showcase at Red Bull Kumite, and he's one that I guess people will more so know him as like a content creator now. But he's sponsored by Equinox, and he's putting up great showings, man. I mean, so he's really showing that he's really, really gifted at this game. But the fact that he could put that much time into content creation and still come and go head to head with some of these big names and still get great placings and stuff like that. Rob TV, he's always in the scene. He's been commentating and stuff like that, being more of a personality, but he's still been in there with his ball, doing his thing and stuff like that. So, Minna, he's been doing really good this year. I mean, he was former Capcom Cup champion, so you can't take nothing away from him. I mean, I think he was 2016, 2017 Capcom Cup champion, one of those years. So, you can't take nothing away from him. Smug, I mean, he's always been known to be a beast. He's really into content creation and stuff now. Shine is a legend. Chrissy and Samurai, also definitely great players. And then you go to the Europe side. Really this year, Problem X has really been on a tear, man. That man has been out here getting it. Luffy is a legend. He was really, really, I think he did have better times in Street Fighter 4 than 5, but he's still a threat. I mean, you can't take nothing away from him. Phenom, I think if I remember correctly, I think Phenom was at that We Play event, I believe, but I'm not necessarily sure. I know Takamura was there. Because I remember him placing high. Infectious, I mean, he's a really, really dope, strong player. Mr. Crimson, he's been doing good this year. I think he won another Red Bull event, the one that happened in I can't remember where it happened, but I know he won with Doll Sim. So he's definitely another strong player. The Birds, everybody it's funny they calling them the Birds now. So I didn't know people was doing that. But Big Bird and Angry Bird, they're pretty good. And Four Fields, another strong character. I mean a player, anybody that I'm sure Punk is listening, everybody knows that they're like top tier players. So this would be fantastic. I mean, amazing. I mean, and this would be like something I see why Capcom has really they even came in and said they would get into this because they want to end their game with a bang. Then
Right.
you got Luke coming out and all that other stuff that they're trying to do. CPT is coming up, so there'll be nice promotion for CPT coming up, seeing how strong all these players are and stuff like that. So it makes sense. It's nice to see how Street Fighter V is wrapping up in this nice little bow. Like it started out how it was, and then towards the end, people are really getting into this, and Capcom is really promoting this and doing their best with this and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see this, man. I can't wait for this to take place if it actually takes place. I mean, I know Capcom said they were, in talks with Punk in his Discord, maybe for the see if they can get some stuff going. But something this big like a 10v10 would definitely take like some scheduling and stuff like that. Everybody has their own lives. There's people we surprised we have life outside of fighting games. So
I know, right?
so,
It's crazy.
bonkers. But so there'll be something to get in place. I heard Mr. Gaming Lift probably go get in there, even though he keep on claiming that he ain't been in it no more. But we all know he just ready to rage and demon somebody out of existence. So yeah, man, this
time, bro.
yeah, this stuff. I would say Mr. MC Amazing, but he played Ed. So
What's that supposed to mean, sir?
it means you have
I play
no
fan,
overhead.
so it's the same boat.
But you got an overhead though. But
You got no overhead.
So but yeah, man, this is pretty dope, man. I'd be happy to see this. So anybody else got anything to add? Man, we went through the topics pretty quick. But yeah, so anybody else have anything to add before we get out of here?